Hi guys, welcome to Hakim's Garage. Back at it again. So we have a 2009 F150 here, and the task for today is the lower main blendour actuator for the driver's side. So from 2009 to 2014, the procedure is exact the same. And also, if you were to do the AC evaporator core or the heater core would be the same procedure. The reason being is, in order for us to do the lower main blendour actuator, we will have to remove the whole dashboard. It's behind the dashboard. So I'm gonna walk you guys through step by step how to do this job here. If you were to do the lower main blendour actuator or the AC evaporator core or the heater core, would be the exact the same way. So let me walk you guys in. Okay, so we're in the car now. So the reason being why I was saying driver side, because this is a dual climate control. So some of them are single. So in that case, you only need one main blendour actuator and one mode actuator. But in this case, because the passenger is separate from the driver, as you can see this for the passenger side, you can control how high. And this is for the driver side, you can also control how high, how low. So for that matter, so you have two blendour actuator, mode, control blendour actuator, and lower main blendour actuator. So that goes same for passenger side. So for the lower main driver side blendour actuator is dug deep in there, and for the driver side mode blendour actuator is actually down here. For this one, you do not have to take the dash out. Let me show you where it is located. I don't know if you could see it, but yeah, it should be. It should. Okay, so this one here, you see that one there where my pry bar, my screw is, my pry bar. So for this one, you do not have to take the dash out. You could reach it over there. And this is the driver side mode blendour actuator. So let me show you guys for the passenger side. Yeah, before we jump to the passenger side, so yeah, let me show you exactly where the driver lower main blendour actuator is. So is in there. So that's why we will have to remove the dash. So for the passenger side, the main is called upper blendour actuator, is behind it. So you can remove this radio cover and all of that stuff. Sometimes you can get to them in there without removing the dash. And you also have a passenger side mode actuator, which is deep inside. For those ones are better if you take the dash out, because it's very hard to access it. It's like in past, actually you could get it, you could get them too. Yeah, so for that one, if you can maneuver around, it shouldn't be that hard. So yeah, so here we are. So the first thing we're gonna be doing, before you take the battery off, just have the seat. So we're on the passenger side now. So we're on the passenger side. So before you disconnect the battery, just have the seat go back and forth. So I have it all the way back now. So because we're gonna be removing the seat. So there's two bolts here. I've already removed them, which is a 15 millimeter. And then you move the seat all the way front, and there is 2 in the back. So in total, 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once we do that, we will be able to remove the seat. So there you go. Those are the 4 bolts. And once we remove those 4 bolts, do not disconnect this one yet, because it controls the airbag, the PCM, and all that stuff. And we do not want to disconnect this without disconnecting the battery. So leave this one there. So for the driver's side would be the same step. So which I've already removed this side. So yeah, initially I did not plan to record this on video for YouTube for you, just as a tip and help. Initially I did not plan, but as I was going, I kind of said, you know what, why not just take this opportunity to help, even if it's one person. So you remove these 4 bolts, those 4 bolts, and the driver's side goes back. So you can take the driver's side, and then you disconnect these 2 big plugs. But okay, so once you have these 4 bolts moved, you're able to pull the seat back a little bit. Then go disconnect the battery, and then once you disconnect the battery, give it about 5-10 minutes, let the PCM and everything shut down completely. And then we come and disconnect these 2 big harness that you see. It's for ABS, for the seat motor, and all the good stuff. So once we do that, we're gonna have to remove the center console now in order for us to move the dash. So one of the first thing I would do is just pop this one. Let me get my flashlight just to give it a bit more sunshine. So I would remove this one here. It just clips there. 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. So once you remove this one, you will have this bracket here. Like I said, guys, sorry, initially I did not plan to record it, but once I started going into it, I decided to do it. Okay, so you will have this bracket here. So you have this bracket here. So it has a 4 bolts there. So you remove that one there. Once that one is removed, you will have one 10 millimeter over here. You see this one here? This is a 10 mil. You will have it here. I've already removed it. So this is a 10 mil. And then you will have another 10 mil in the back here. Yeah, you will have one in the over here. So this for the center console. So that's all you need on this side, just because you have to remove this to access this bolt here. Yeah, this one here. And then once we remove this bolt for the center console, and then that side there, which is for the driver side, we will do the same thing on passenger side. Let's go around. So same thing. So we're on the passenger side now. So same thing. Remove this guy here. Yeah, so remove this guy. Just pop him up, pop him out. So it just clips. No bolts, no nothing holding this one here. So once we have that one out, same thing. remove this bracket. This bracket here is because this one here is the dash, and this is the body, the frame, right? So the dash is held down by this bracket, so that's why we're removing this, so we're able to push this dash out. So okay, so we're gonna remove this 10mm bolt on this side, and then same thing on this side. Once we do that, we'll be able to remove the center console. Okay, let's move it. So as you can see, the center console just got moved to the back because it's loose, nothing is holding it now. So once we do that, so now we're gonna move this coffee holder and this box here. So it's just sitting there. So just pry it here with a screwdriver or with the plastic trim. So you will be able to move this and then put this aside. And then you will have this connector here. You will have that connector, and then there's 4 bolts for this gearbox here. So 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then you disconnect this plug here for the gearbox, and then this will just come off. But before that comes off, there's this the transmission cable. So it goes into here. This one goes into over here. Just use a screwdriver or a trim, the trim screw. Just pry it outwards. Pry this one outwards, and this one should come off. And then once that one comes off, so now basically we can move this all the way back, and then we're gonna I've already removed these 2 bolts here, these ones here, this one. So 2, you remove those 2 bolts, and then we can remove this all the way back. And this plug here connects to this one here. That plug there connects to that one. So you disconnect that one, and then you're able to move this PCM module. It's held down by 3 screws, 1, 2, and then 3, and then you can just set this aside. And then you remove this one here, which is held down by 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one is over there. And then that's all you got for the dashboard removal. Okay, so after we're gonna be removing this module here, this PCM here. So it's held down by 3 bolts, 1, 2, and the 3rd one here. So once we remove these 3, so we do not have to disconnect any of these plugs. We're just gonna move it up and just set it aside. And then once we set that aside as it is, then we're gonna remove these 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those 4, once we remove this 4, this one here will come off, and then so this won't be holding the dash in place. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove this one. So yeah, once we remove these 3 bolts, to remove this one, then we'll be able to get to this one here, and then we remove this bracket here that's holding the dashboard. And then once we remove these two, we're gonna be removing this hose here, this air duct. And then once we remove that one, we will have lots of room to remove this big one here. So it goes around that one there, that one, and then we remove that one, and then we can get to the dash. Yeah, so in order for us to remove the dashboard, I'll show you, I'm gonna walk you guys all the steps you need to remove the dashboard. So once we get to here, once the center console is removed and the 2 seats are removed and the bar is disconnected, so let me walk you through how to remove the dashboard. So this is the passenger side, that's the driver side, this is the passenger side. Okay, so on the passenger side, once you remove this the side rubber, so we get a bit of more room, and then you come up here, so you remove this the upper side trim. So it's just, so you pop this one off with like a pick, and you pop this one, so it's 2 of them, and then you have 2 7mm socket, 1 in there, 1 in here. And then once those 2 comes off, so you just pull it out and pull it back, and there's a connector here for the side speaker. So we're gonna remove this side panel, so this one here, so this is the side speaker, the little one. So push in this little top and just pull it up, so this should come off. So once this one is off, and we already have this one off, so there is a 2 13mm bolt. Let me have the light on there. Yeah, so this one here, 1 and 2. So on the passenger side you have 2, and then there is 1 over here. So once you remove this upper little panel here, the cover, so yeah, just pry it up. So there is 3 clips here, and there is 2 on this side, so it just sits like this. So I have like a plastic pry or a pocket screw. Just get in there and just pry it upwards, and it should come off, and just put it to the side. So there is 1 13mm. Let me see if you can see it. So you could use your phone, or you could use like a small mirror just to see where that is. That one there, you see that 13mm bolt? So you remove that one. Yeah, so once you remove that one there, and then you come down here, you have to unplug some of these connectors, not all but some. So you will have to remove this one here from the junction box, this one here, remove this one, and then remove this one. You don't have to remove this big one because it stays with the junction box, and the junction box stays with the body of the car. It's not part of the dashboard. And then you remove this big gray, see where my finger is, that one, and then you disconnect this green one here, because this part here will be coming with the dashboard. So this whole plug here, you see this wire here is coming with the dashboard. So once you have that one there, and then you open the glove compartment, and then you just push it inwards this way, and then pop it from both sides. Okay, that one there, and this one. So this will come down. Once this one comes down, let's just remove the whole glove compartment back so we don't have to deal with it. So you have three. So you have, for this glove box, so you have 3 bolts here, which is a 7mm. Remove that one, and there is 2 more. So we're gonna remove that one too, and then the third one. So all 3 is out. So the glove box compartment comes off. So we're gonna set it aside for now. We're gonna put all the bolts that we took off inside, so we keep it organized, so when we put it back we know which bolt is for which. So we're gonna put this one aside, and then there is a couple of connectors here. So you have this one here, I believe that one is for the airbag, or yeah, this yellow one here, and then for this one here, the antenna one. So you just, this one you just push it in the clip and just pull it up, and this one here you don't have to push anything. For the antenna is a male and a female type pin connector, so you just pull them apart, and then this one comes off. So once you do that one, pretty much on the passenger side you're good. So once that one is off, and once these connectors are off, it's just few connectors, about 5-6 of them, and these 2 bolts and that 1 bolt in there. Pretty much on the passenger side you're good to go. It's loose, so we'll hop in to the right side. So on the, this is the driver's side. So on the driver's side, so this is the side trim here. It does not have any bolt holding it, it's just clips. So pull it back, and once you have it pulled back, just like the other side there, this is a side speaker here, small speaker. So there's a connector that's connected. So this is the side trim here for the driver's side. So we're gonna pop this one off. It's just clips. So this is the connector for the side speaker here. So once we have it pulled back, we're gonna just pry it back and just pull it outwards like that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna fix that one after, no problem. Let's just put it back in so we don't forget anything. Yeah, it should be good there. So we'll set this aside. So let me walk you through. So on the driver's side we have 3 bolts, 1, 2 and 3. And then just like we did on the other side, so this is the cover here. Once you pop this one off, on the passenger side there was only one bolt, right? But on the driver's side there is two bolts, which is the same 13 bolts, 13 millimeter. So if you put your light there or your camera or a mirror, you will be able to see it. Let me have the camera focused. Okay, yeah, those two. So once you take up those two bolts, and then you have one bolt on the side for the driver side. For the passenger side, we didn't have this one here. So there's one on the driver's side here. So in order for you to access this one here, you will have to remove this side panel, right? So this is how the side panel is. So this is how the side panel was. So once you remove this one, so that bolt there will be exposed for you, which is a 13 millimeter. Let me see if the camera will be able to show it to you. Yeah, that one there, you see that 13 millimeter socket there? So you can just, what I do is usually just use a longer extension. Just put my hand in there and you will be able to take it out, that one there. So once you have that one out, and then we'll come down here under the steering column. So you have so once we come down here, yeah, so just unplug only. Actually, you don't have to unplug, like, yeah, these are the security theft module here. So there's a zip tie. It's zip tied to this big harness here. Are you able to see? Let me see. Yeah, I think it's better now. Okay, so yeah, it's zip tied to this big harness here, and this harness here is part of the dashboard. So just cut this zip tie. Once you cut it, this will be loose. And then there's a parking brake here. So yeah, so this is the parking brake, this one here. So this parking brake, that's the cable is attached to the gear there, and then it goes that way. And then this parking brake release here is attached to the part there, right? As you can see, it's moving. So when we're removing this dashboard, we don't want to stretch that cable, and it's not even gonna allow us to pull the dashboard back because it's attached to there. So you can just pop this one off here, this one here. Yeah, just with the pliers, squeeze them in and push it backwards, and then this will come off. Once this one is off, and then this will come out of there, and then you have it free. So pretty much that's all there is over here. And then in the middle, in the center console here, yeah, so and then here in the center console, just connect this part here. There's a breather tube. It goes through there, it goes there. So it's the same one as this one here. So it's just a breather tube. So it's held by this clip here. Just pry this one back and just pull it out. And then the only thing that will be left for us will be the steering column itself, the steering. So the steering goes down to down here, attaching to the intermediate shaft, to the rack and pinion, this one here. So there's a 10 millimeter there. So once you loosen this 10 millimeter, you'll be able to disconnect it from the intermediate shaft, and then your steering column will be free. Just one thing to keep in mind: once you loosen that nut and the steering comes off of the intermediate shaft, just make sure your steering does not rotate, because it will be free. So just make sure it does not rotate much, because you have a clock spring there. It's loaded spring, which is a very thin compressed spring, so it has to be steered smoothly and easily. But if you disconnect that and the steering goes round, the compressed spring, the clock spring, might come out, might dislocate out of its position, or it might cause the airbag to scratch, and etc. So just make sure you have this one straight, have it solid. Just be careful it doesn't rotate. So yeah, pretty much that's all there is. So once you have those up, your dashboard, yeah, will just come out. Yeah, so I have it a bit tightened a little bit, because I'm gonna need my two hands slightly to just pull them back. So yeah, pretty much that's all there is to pull the dash out on F150 from 09 to 2014, and it might work for like a 2015, and some of them to even 2008, 2007, just a slightly different, but specifically this one is for 2009 to 2014. Yeah. So once you have the dashboard out, so in order for us to now take the pickup box off, so we need to remove 3 bolts to remove this evaporator pickup box. So one bolt is over here, and the second one, that one there, and the third one would be down there. And once you have those 3 bolts removed, you make sure you evacuate the refrigerant, and then that evaporator core AC line expansher, there is one bolt over there. Let me point it for you. So it would be over here. So you loosen that one nut, and then you disconnect the 2 AC line, that one in there, and then the heater core, you disconnect these 2 lines, this one and this one. So, and then there's one bolt here which I've already removed, so that one there. So from the firewall on the engine side here, so 3 bolts. So 1, and then 2 is the expansioner attachment, and 3rd would be the heater core attachment, which is that one there. So once you have these 3 nuts removed, and the 3 nuts by the dashboard here, this pickup box literally just comes off. So once we take the evaporator pickup box out of there, and then what we will do is bring it to the bench work. So in order for you to do the blendour actuators or the evaporator core, which is for the AC, and the heater core, which is over there for the heat. So once we have the pickup box on the bench here, so we're replacing the blendour actuator. So it would be the same thing. In order for you to do the evaporator core or to do the heater core, you will have to take this pickup box out of the car from the, so that will be behind the dashboard. So in order for us to replace our blendour actuator, so it would be down there. So in order to do this little guy, we have to do all this job. So okay, let's take this one off, and it's held down by So this box here, upper box, is held by 3 screws, 1, 2, and 3 over there. So let's take them out. So that one is 1, and that one is 2, and the third one is over there. Okay, let's take them out. So once that one is out, so this upper box pops off. Let's put it aside. So this is the small guy that we're looking for, so which is the driver side blendour actuator, or it's called a driver side lower main actuator, or you can call it a temperature actuator. So this temperature actuator over here, so when you put it on a AC, it allows the blender to open on one side, and when you put it on a heat, like winter time, it allows it to open the blender on one side. So this is the one that controls the temperature. AC one side and heat on one side. So that's why we can call it temperature control blender actuator, or you can call it lower main driver side. So in order for us to do this part here, so this pickup box has to come off. So it's held down by 2 screws. Let's take them out. So once we take these 2 screws, it allows us to take off the blender actuator. So this is what it is. So this is the old one here, and this is the new one here. So let's pop back this new one in. Okay, sometimes it doesn't happen more often, but it might happen once in a while. So what happens here now, because you see, as you can see, the gear here, the teeth on this newer one, it has a bit of a bigger opening slide here, and here, let me focus it up. You see how wide it is on this side, but if you were to look at all around, the opening is not that much, except on this one side. Yeah, here, let me. You see on this one side here, the opening is a bit bigger. Let me have it. Okay, there is focusing now. And so that opening here should be matching on that opening on that side over there. You see the wider side over there? So sometimes what could happen is, because those two openings, they might not be aligning, so it might not allow you to put it in because the teeth are not matching. So this, like I said, this doesn't happen, but once in a while you might come across this. So in order for you to have this one sitting in properly, so what we could do is this. So this is the old one, right? So we're gonna take this old one apart because it's garbage. We're changing it anyways. So it has about like 5 clips around. So this one here, pop that one out, and this one is the second one, and then third, fourth, and fifth. So we're gonna have this open. So this is how the insides look. So once we have the, because this is garbage, we don't need it anymore. So I just want to show you how to match this one, that one into there, because it's not allowing us to put it in now. So you can take this old gear, which is same as this one, same as that one there. So you could take this one here. You see, this one here, you can only have it rotated through the dashboard there. Once you have the ignition on, with your hand, you will never be able to rotate this one in, so to sit it there. So it's not gonna allow us to turn it in there unless you use the dashboard or the control, the switch in the car. So once we take this old one out, so let's match that one in there. that opening with that opening. So now you can turn the blender around, you see? So you can have it adjusted. Let's try that, okay. And then you take it out, you put the new one in. Let's see if it's gonna match, it's gonna mesh in now. Okay, so let's see this one here. So that opening teeth is over there, so we're gonna need that opening also. We're gonna need that opening. So let's bring it around. Okay, now let's try now. You see how it went in now? There you go. So since we said we can never turn this around, so we take this one, the old one, off because it's garbage. So put it in there. You see how it's matching now in there? And I was able to rotate it as I like and adjust it to where I want it. I think that's the spot there. Let's try. So this is the new one here, and that's the opening. You see the opening, how bigger it is than the rest? Okay, now let's try. There you go. So that's one trick you could use. It's just a little tip there. This doesn't happen. The computer usually, before you take it off, when you turn off the car, usually the switch there has it in a way. And then when you buy the new actuator, usually I've done many of them, for some reason they always mesh, they always match. But in this case, the grooves weren't matching. So that's what you could do if that happens to you. Just take the old one, adjust it with this one, and then put the new one in. So once we have the driver's side lower main blender actuator, so now let's put back the cover. So the cover goes back this way. And so it has 3 screws. Okay, so we have the cover back. So sometimes what I would recommend is that since you have to remove this pickup box, evaporator pickup box out of the car, so you have to remove the dashboard in order to do that, and then remove this pickup box. And in order to remove this pickup box, you will have to disconnect the AC. But before you disconnect the AC, you will have to evacuate the refrigerant and then disconnect the heater hoses for the heater core. So, in order for us to take this one up, since it's a big job, might as well do the rest of the blender actuators. So there is 4 of them in total. So this type of F150s is a dually climate control or a dual. So you can control the driver's side separately than you do the passenger side. So that's why they have two different types. I mean, they have two controls. So you have one for driver side, one for the passenger side. So since we have to do this job here, why not just change all the blendour actuators? It's 4 of them. So some of them you can get to them without pulling the dashboard or this pickup box out. But like 2 or 3 of them, you have to take this one off unless you want to do the cheat code. And in that case, it's a bit of a hassle, and you might end up cracking things and stuff. So the safer and better way is just doing it the right way, this way. So since we're already here, let's go ahead and change the rest of the blendour actuator, which I already have. So this is 3. I've already replaced one, so about 4 of them. So I'm doing all 4 at the same time. And it's also good to do the evaporator core and the heater core, so you don't have to worry about them for years to come, right? But if you don't change them, they might end up failing maybe in a year or 2 or 3. Then you're gonna have to do this job again. So just to avoid that, we can just do everything at the same time. And in order to do the evaporator core or the heater core, so you have screws all around, you see? All of these ones here, these ones. And some of them are rivets. So you just drill those ones out, and there's the screws. There's some. So once you take all these screws around, so this half cover comes off. And then the evaporator and the heater core is exposed. So you just take them out and put the new one in and put this cover back. So, okay, we will do that and get back to you. So yeah, on this 2000, so it goes from 09 to 2014, dual climate control actuators. So this pickup box, this is how it's bolted onto the car as it is, as you guys can see. So just a bit of info. So in the future, if you come across and you didn't know what you were looking at, so you have 4 blendour actuator. This is the passenger side. So this is the speaker by the passenger door. So this is how it's bolted to the car. Yeah, okay, there you go. So this is the passenger side. It's called passenger side recirculation blendour actuator. Let's have it sitting properly. Yeah. So yeah, the passenger side recirculation blendour actuator. Passenger side upper main blendour actuator. So if you're not getting heat, or let's say that it's cold, it's winter time, and your passenger side blendour is stuck on hot, and it's winter time, it's winter time, and okay, we will edit this part. So yeah, so if your blendour is stuck on one side, on passenger side, so the 2 blendour actuator for the passenger side would be, this one is upper main blendour actuator, which allows the blendour to open hot or AC. So if your blendour is stuck on hot or on AC on one side, so your issue would be this one here, because this is the one that controls hot AC. So this is the one you have to replace, and it's called upper main blendour actuator. And on your passenger side, if it's stuck, so this would be recirculation or mode climate control. So how you have phase on the switch on the dashboard, you can put it on phase, or you can put it on body, or you can put it on your feet. So if it's stuck on feet or in either one of them, if it's stuck there and wouldn't change it for you, so it would be this one here, the passenger recirculation blendour actuator, or you can call it climate mode, changing the mode actuator. So it would be this one here. And as for the driver side, recirculation one is this one here, which is right by the gas pedal. For this one, you don't even have to remove the dashboard or anything. You could reach to this one just by your gas pedal. It's just right there. So this would be the recirculation one. No, I mean, sorry, this would be the mode. Yeah, same thing. Recirculation, blendour actuator, or mode climate actuator. So it would be that one. And for the driver side, lower main blendour actuator, as we said, or it could be called temperature blendour actuator, hot or cold. So mostly, if you have to do this one for the driver side, you will have to remove the dashboard and this pickup box, this whole job to do this little guy here. I've seen some guys where they don't do that. They just remove like partially, halfway, like remove the center console and stuff and pry on these things, and have one guy pry on this side, yeah, and one on one hand pry this one. And what do you call, the plug for this one here in the back is so tight. It does not allow you to pull this back so you can pop the plug out. So it would have been really good had the engineers, had they made the plug for the blendour actuator there, had they made the wire, the plug, the connection a bit like flexible and a bit longer, you would even have to do all this job. Like you could just pry this one down and you could pull this back and pop the plug back. But since the wire for that one is so tight, it does not allow you even 1 inch or 2 inch even to pull back. So it's very hard for you to stick your hand in there to unplug it. So that's one of the biggest reason why you actually have to remove these pickup bags, is because of the plug, the connector to the blendour there. So there you have it. Let me summarize it. I know it's a bit getting longer, but you know, if you have the patience to watch it for a few extra minutes, why not? Anyways, we're on social media and shows and stuff for hours. Okay, driver side mode actuator, driver side lower main blendour actuator, passenger side mode actuator, and passenger side upper main blendour actuator. And this is how it sits in the car. There you go. Okay, there we go. Everything is put back together, and there we go. Everything is working fine, blowing cold. Before, the driver's side wasn't blowing AC, was blowing only hot. So that's why the passenger side was working, but not the driver's side. So now the driver's side is also blowing cold, and everything is put back together. The reason why I didn't show you guys how to put it back together, so it's just a reverse. You take it out and you put it back the way you took it out. So that was the reason why I didn't show how to put it back. And the customer needed his car is a work truck. So there you have it. Everything is put back together and working fine. Yeah.